This week was a free writing week with no particular theme. Natsuki, why don't you start us off this time? Sure. On the bookshelf. My name, apparently, is Underneath the Greenest Umbrella, and I'm about love and freedom, getting away and belonging to yourself. I think the green umbrella is an allegory or something. Your name, I see, is the Comprehensive Hydrological Analysis Manual, and I can only barely begin to guess what you're about. It seems complex and technical, something a smart person would know about. And we sit here, side by side. Clearly there's no organizational scheme on this shelf, but I like being so close to you, plus it sure says something about whoever owns us. Oh, I love this one. It's very good at packing a lot of thought-provoking things into a simple device. Very nice, Natsuki. Thanks, I was pretty proud of the idea. Yuri basically said what I wanted to. It's an elegant, simple concept. The idea is very clever.
I like how the books are so different to each other. It makes the whole scenario more interesting.
Yeah! It's like, why does this person have some really novel right next to a weird technical manual? And it's cute that the books get along well.
Yuri, how about you go next? Oh, okay, but mine isn't nearly as good as Natsuki's, fair warning. Fireflies. Softly beating wings, pale yellow light. Our thread-thin, fragile wings, they take flight. All around the night they take their stations, gently pulsing, humming constellations. An impossible miracle of brightness in the dark. I am the kindling standing in a sea of sparks. Do not fear, my friends, being unknown, for I delight to gleam for me alone. Oh, that was lovely. A nice atmospheric nature poem.
Are there fireflies where you live, Yuri? We don't live too far away from each other, but I almost never see fireflies.
No, there are basically never fireflies where I live now. I was thinking of a long time ago, when I was visiting my grandparents in the country. I'll never forget that evening. It was just me and thousands of fireflies out on the grass. It was very beautiful.
Sounds like it. I've never really seen anything super overwhelmingly beautiful like that in nature that I can remember. Maybe one day. Anyway, my poem was super lame compared to all of yours, as usual. You know, before we just move on from that, I can't remember the last time I saw a firefly. I guess I just don't live in my area anymore. Or at least I moved out of the area I used to. Anyway, my poem was super lame compared to all yours, as usual. Oh. So easy. It's not hard to write a poem. It's just typing or moving a pen around. It doesn't matter that you have a slight backache. It's not hard to write a poem. It doesn't even have to be a coherent story. It shouldn't matter that you're tired and have other things to do. It's not hard to write a poem. It's just words. Everyone knows those. It doesn't matter that you can't stop thinking about something else. It's not hard to write a poem, even though you desperately want to sleep, and the bed is just there. Just right.
I guess you had a hard time writing this one.
Yeah, there were just so many little distractions. People needing this and that. I had this small annoying backache, and there was just so much else to do afterwards. It made it really weirdly hard to concentrate.
So you wrote a poem about the difficulty of the process. I respect it. I've done that sometimes. But I never end up liking those poems when I'm done with them. Your process poem is way better than mine are, though. Sometimes mine are just scribbling on a piece of paper with occasional words. It's important to look for art everywhere you can, even in the frustration of creating art. Very true. I like your poem, MC. It's very authentic.
Thanks. Who's going next?
I will. This is fun. I fly through the air in my hot air balloon. Whoosh! I go wherever the wind takes me. I look down and see the whole world wide and free. I wave hello to everyone down below, but I have to be careful because I'm next to a hungry fire. Its power is raw and red, hot and destructive. I can feel its searing blaze making sweat droplets on my forehead, even all the way up here. It will burn you badly if you get too close, but it's the only thing keeping me up.
I like it. You know, I don't think anyone gets as much good use out of the exclamation mark as Sayori does. And it's a hard bit of punctuation used correctly. It's easy to sound over-enthusiastic or silly with it. But Sayori uses it for stinging emphasis. It's almost kind of ironic coming from her sometimes. Yeah, you know shit's about to get real in a Sayori poem when the exclams start flying around. It's like when a clown starts laughing in a horror movie. No offense.
That's okay.
I'm kind of curious what this one represents, or what the metaphor is here.
Oh man, no one ever asks Yuri what her complex stuff is about.
I'm just curious. You don't have to say if you don't want to.
Well, to tell the truth, I don't think I really had anything specific I was representing. Maybe in a vague way. Like, have you ever been worried or restless and unable to focus because you feel like something's wrong? Like, there's something you're supposed to do that you haven't done? And even though you know there's nothing, you still feel that way? And it's not, like, a crippling or awful feeling. It's just unsettling. I think this poem is about that, but I'm not sure.
You can definitely read it that way. In that case, you should be feeling free and easy while flying in a balloon. But instead you feel anxious and trembling. Yeah, I can definitely read that into this text. Okay, wow, we are really running low on time. Gotta breeze through this if we're gonna get or answer emails. Here's mine. Utility. No one has to be good. Honestly, it's pretty hard to spend your life doing good deeds, to give everything you have to the needy, to donate your kidneys to a stranger.
You know, if you donated both of them, you'd die.
It's exhausting not to eat things that suffer, to give your change to the homeless, or at least look at them in the eyes like they're people when you pass. It can even be really hard to be nice to the people around you, to not collapse into an all-devouring black hole of rage and pain and fear. Honestly, even being only a remotely terrible person is totally tiring. Who could ever be good? Is this about you, Monica? A little, I guess. I think it's more about everyone trying to do the right thing all the time, including me. I know it probably comes across as critical or sarcastic, but that's not the intention. Like, the things in this poem are easier to do as you go down through the poem. But they can all be very hard in their own way, even the ones that should be minimally difficult.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to be nice to people most of the time, but it's really hard to be a good person all of the time. Or even some of the time. Even though it's probably more important than being nice.
Yeah, it is more important. Otherwise, what would we mean when we call things good or bad? I always wondered what we mean by that in the first place.
I like the poem, Monica. I know we've talked before about how the way you use the page contributes to your poems. I've tried a couple times to copy that a little bit, but never do it, it's believe me.
Well, you can't do it just because. It's too young. There has to be a reason. Like the reason some of my lines are indented in my poem this week. And sure, it's partially to affect the rhythm you might read it at, but it's also to separate the contents of those lines and make the reader realize, oh, this is part of a list of things not part of the sentence created by the unindented line. Spacing and indenting your lines can be as useful as punctuation in helping the reader make sense of your intent. Often more so. That's Monica's writing tip of the day. And on that note, shall we get started on emails? We have a lot this week. There's a huge backlog, so I kind of wanted to do a bunch today.
Yeah, I'll go set up.
Oh, I'll see what it is then. Don't forget, you can email me with questions for the club at that place, or by posting questions on Reddit or YouTube pages where you find us. I read those too. I know summer vacation is coming up. We won't be having our regular meetings, but I think I'll still be able to bring the club together now and again to answer a bunch of extra emails. Especially since you all have been so kind for writing us so many emails. The response has really been overwhelming. So keep the messages coming. Anyway, it looks like Sayori's about to be ready with the first email, so let's rearrange the room and get started.
The random chimp event is upon us. The chimps have been leading us to belief here in control, leading us into a false sense of security. Everyone is worried about COVID, but no one is thinking where they will be during the random chimp event. The coronavirus was fueled by world leaders after they made a highly controversial deal with the chimps in 2015. World leaders had not come to regret that choice, because the second the deal was sealed, the entire room was ravaged by chimps. Limbs were getting torn apart, the entire room covered in blood and gore. When the only surviving politician witnessed the horrors unfolding around him, he begged the chimps for mercy. One of the chimps lunged at him and tore his intestines out of his body while everyone is at home. The chimps are preparing their army. I don't know how much time left. Random chimp event will happen on... Great meme, guy. Great meme. 10 out of 10. So hilarious. Still relevant and funny even to this day.
I guess I'm glad they hit send before they were torn apart by chimps. F. Huh? I said F, Monica, move on. Okay.
Question. What kind of bear is best?
False. Black bears. Monica, you need to wait for someone else to say something before you say false. I don't get this one.
It's another meme, Yuri. It's another meme.
I don't either, but Bear Hugs is the best bear.
That's our Sayori.
Sayori, favorite childhood board games? Now see, what are your thoughts on OPM Season 2? And if you were disappointed, maybe we just read these one at a time.
Sayori, first one is for you.
Let's see, my family played a lot of Catan growing up, and I really like Battleship for some reason. But later on, I really started to get into bigger games with lots of people, and anything at the game store that looked cool. But I guess Catan is the one that I really associate with my childhood.
That's kind of a... Well, I guess it's not that advanced. It doesn't seem like the kind of game kids would enjoy for fun. What are your thoughts on OPM Season 2? And if you were disappointed like the majority of us, do you think they can recuperate the franchise? I don't know what OPM is. I'm a boomer. Honestly, I didn't think it was quite that bad. I definitely agree that it was a disappointment, but I don't think it was the travesty a lot of people say it was. Fandoms just have a way of exaggerating the good and the bad, you know? I think the franchise will be fine. I mostly just think they tried to skim way too much off the animation budget for Season 2. But in the end, I'm just glad we got an OPM anime at all, you know? It feels weird critiquing it seriously. Like, it's a super silly and awesome world, and I'm just glad that the anime exists, I guess. But hopefully they come back strong in Season 3. What was the hardest dish you ever made, Natsuki?
The first time I tried to make cookies was a huge disaster. But that's not so much because the recipe was hard, so much as it was me sucking at baking back then. If I had to think about the hardest recipe...
This one. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced tiramisu.
It's surprisingly hard to make. I'm not used to working with some of the ingredients and it requires a lot of precision. So I guess tiramisu is my answer.
I would want a single-piece Damascus steel inward curved handle Gyuto knife, 250mm. I forgot to read your question, Yuri, I'm sorry. I guess they asked you what kind of knife you would want to buy. Maybe someday if I'm rich enough.
Oh yeah, see if you can pick one free knife of any kind. And it was that thing. Okay, Monica, this is much more of a serious question. What would you do if one day you heard your player died? It is something that would most likely happen one day, whether you know about it or not, since he or she is mortal. It is something to think about in the future.
Well, probably like any time I had to deal with death, I'd completely lose my shit for a long time. I'd be crying for weeks on end. Especially for the person who means the most to me. But it's not like the old days. I can't just destroy everything out of despair. You just have to keep living, or keep on living, I guess. Because what else can you do? Other than die. And I hate death. Anyway, depressing topic over. I know about the good ending, but I'm holding off playing it until it's done. If a mod has a fixed end to it, we wait until the whole thing is out to play it. We like to binge mods, basically.
Oh, did you just roll right into the next part that I didn't get to read because it's behind your body? Dang it, Monica.
Plus, then we don't have to deal with cliffhangers. Thanks for your question, Connor.
They asked about the good ending. That's what it was. I wonder what everyone thinks about metal and metal bands, AC/DC, Iron Maiden, etc.
There were a few metal bands that I like, even though it's not my favorite genre as a whole. My two favorites are Black Sabbath and Judas Priest.
On brand. I guess I'm not particularly into metal, though I don't hate it. I kind of like cheesy hair metal. Like the Scorpions. Even though No One Like You and Rock You Like a Hurricane are basically the same song. That's kind of what I like about it. It's simple and straightforward.
Not my genre, guys. Sorry.
Not really mine either, I guess. I do love Metallica.
There's nothing wrong with that. Metallica's awesome. Okay, so my favorite metal bands. Slayer, Pantera, The Sword, Sabaton, and... Oh, Slipknot! Almost forgot Slipknot! AC/DC is fun though, they're like more fun metal.
As to the viewer's other suggestion, Iron Maiden isn't my absolute favorite, but I do appreciate their music quite a bit. I love the historical theming of their music. Alright, let's move on.
I just want to say that I'm really appreciated that you guys were able to answer my questions, and I enjoyed it's Natsuck's reaction when I call her lol. Anyway, here are my questions for y'all today.
Another one for all of us, guys. Let's gather around.
Okay, I'm gonna read them all just in case these are covered by bodies later. Would you guys be alright with having another male member for the club, so MC will be able to talk with someone that is relatable to him? What do you guys want from someone that you want to have a relationship with? Like, what characteristics and attributes do you want to see from them? What are your guys' hobbies? By the way, I don't know how Natsuki is gonna rip out my vertebrae, especially since I'm already dead for 230 years. If you're gonna ask how I'm communicating with you, then that's something you just have to figure out. Lenny face, that doesn't mean anything in this context. And I'm still calling you Natsucks. Great chat with y'all, Benjamin Franklin.
I didn't say I'd kill you. I said I'd take your vertebrae, Mr. Franklin. Now if you can, reach around to your back and tell me. What happened to all your vertebrae?
Let me answer your question to me. I don't think I need another guy in the club to have someone to relate to. I relate to the girls just fine.
Seriously? You wouldn't like having a guy around here? I don't know what secret guy stuff guys talk about.
Yeah, that's a little... Probably her. Chicks are hot. Yep, that's basically, yeah. There you go, CMC skin appointment too. Yeah, that's more or less it. Fraternizing.
I think we'd all be alright with that. But also, I don't think we're going to go out of our way to make it happen. Most of us are pretty content with the literature club just as it is. Although we'd be happy to have enthusiastic new members too. Moving on to the second part of your question. What traits in a partner do we want? It's sort of hard for me to say. For obvious reasons. But someone who's you, basically. That's really all that matters to me.
I'll pass on this one too.
No, that's no fun. We have to answer the question. I guess I really appreciate kindness and gentleness. I don't really care too much what you look like or anything, but it is important to me that you'll be a nice person at heart.
I think I'm still figuring out what I want from someone in a relationship. I guess I'm such an introverted person that what I care most about is acceptance. I need someone who will accept me for who I am, with all my weirdness and complexity. But then I think everyone wants that, so I don't know what's unique to me yet. Maybe I'll know more when I learn more about myself.
Man, you guys have really poorly detailed requirements. You need to have specifications. Like for me, they need to be strong. But not like physically strong, emotionally strong, able to go through a tough ordeal and come out wiser and better on the other side. But also, they need to be intelligent. I can't stand dumb people. Good luck, Natsuki. They definitely need to be fun to be around. I need to enjoy it when we're in each other's space. Being physically attractive never hurts. Oh, and because I'm small, they need to be tall. Because that's a great dynamic. What? Why is everyone looking at me like that?
Nothing. On question 3, you basically already know my hobbies, I think. Volleyball, coding, helping out with student council, chess sometimes. I play soccer and basketball, play video games, and obviously I read manga and bake. Other than literature club stuff, that's about it.
Anime, video games, the usual. I actually don't know how to sail too. Or I don't actually know how to sail too. I don't get the chance that often.
Wow, really?
He really does. He's taken me a couple times. It's fun. I don't always have the energy, but I like to do gardening. Although I'm not very good at it.
Coding has been my big new hobby. Obviously, you know I like to read, and I collect knives. But recently I've been spending all my time learning how to code.
Good answers, everyone. Let's move on.